Hi kids, today we're going to be finishing The Mystery in Venice by Geronimo Stilton. So let's get started. The Mystery of the Crystal Gondola. The mouse blew her nose loudly into my pocket-chief. Honk, honk, honk. Good thing I brought an extra. After she had finished, I pulled out the small note I had found in the crystal gondola. Then I showed it to her. You wrote this, didn't you? I guessed. She smiled shyly. Yes, I don't know what I was thinking, she explained. Who puts a message in a bottle anymore, right? I know, it's a ridiculous idea. I guess I was just desperate for help and I didn't know how else to find it. The mouse told me her name was Hope. I told her I'd come to Venice to help her. That's so sweet, she blubbered, tears rolling down her fur. But I'm afraid I don't know what you can do. You see, the problem is that my uncle, Stuart Sharpwhisker, won't give me permission to marry my beloved Arnie. I gave her my extra pocket-chief so we both wouldn't drown in her tears. Finally, after a few more snorts into my extra pocket-chief, too bad I hadn't brought a third, Hope explained that Arnie was a terrible glassmaker. Me too, I interrupted. You should see the mess I made downstairs in the shop. I think your uncle is going to fire me. Probably, Hope agreed. That's what happened to my poor Arnie. My uncle kicked him out right on his tail. He says I can only marry a rodent who is an expert glassmaker so he can take over the business someday. It's so unfair. I love Arnie. I want to marry him. I nodded sympathetically as she continued. I locked myself up in this attic so my uncle will know how serious I am about Arnie, Hope added. She gave me back my sopping pocket-chief. I coughed and felt a tickle in my nose. Did you ever notice that when you are trying not to do something like sneeze, you sometimes feel like you can't stop it from happening? I promise to help you, I told Hope, wiggling my nose. But you must promise that you will stop crying and go do something fun with your friends. Everything will be okay. Achoo! At that moment, I let out a sneeze so powerful it shook the room. Since I had no pocket-chief, I had to blow my nose in my sleeve. How embarrassing. But I didn't have much time to think about it because just then a voice thundered from downstairs. Who made this mess? I cringed. Old Sharpwhisker was in the house and he sounded less than happy. Yep, even though I'd solved the mystery in Venice, I had a feeling my troubles were far from over. Unfortunately, I was right. The minute I went downstairs, Sharpwhisker pointed at the lumpy pile of glass I'd created. You're fired, he shrieked. He probably would have thrown me out the door by my whiskers if I hadn't opened at that exact moment. The rodent who came and looked closely with an expert air at my misshapen pile of glass. What an unbelievable sculpture, he murmured. It's a modern masterpiece. I'll buy it. Old Sharpwhisker charged the guy a fortune for the lump of glass. I tried to slip away, but I was too slow. Sharpwhisker grabbed me by the ear. Get back here, he yelled. Interesting. It's a done deal, Fuzzball. As soon as the customer left, old Sharpwhisker stuck his snout in my face. Get to work, he thundered. I want 20 more of those horrible modern sculptures. Got it, Fuzzball? I tried to protest, but Sharpwhisker just rolled his eyes. I just rehired you and you're already complaining? He squeaked. Then he began to count his money. What a fool, throwing away all his money for a pile of junk. He could have bought 3 of my beautiful gondolas, but who cares? Money is more important. Suddenly, he looked over to the shelf of trophies and medals I had seen earlier. He rubbed his paws together, smiling at a photo of a gleaming gondola on the water. With the money I make off of your ugly creations, I can repair my beautiful gondolas and win races again, he squeaked. But then he dissolved into tears. Here we go again, I groaned inwardly as the waterworks started. What was with this family? They all cried like fountains. I passed the distraught mass my soaked handkerchief. Now what's wrong? I asked him. Well, I have the money to fix my gondola, Sharpwhisker said, sniffling. But I don't have a crew anymore. I fired them all. What a bunch of complainers, especially that Arnold character. He was always making cheesy eyes at my niece. Still, it would be so great if I could win the next race. Just then, I came up with a fabulous idea. If I can win the race for you, will you do something important for me? I asked. The big mouse looked me over. He touched my puny bicep. He stared at my drooping shoulders and a flabby belly. Then he said, You're a mess, but I'm desperate. It's a deal, Fuzzball. He crunched my paw and gave it a bone-crunching shake. It's a deal. Ouch. That minute, I had agreed to do the deal. I started to regret it. Why was Sharpwhiskers so quick to accept my offer? Something didn't seem right, so I asked, By the way, when is the next gondola race? I was hoping he would say it was sometime far away, like maybe never. Instead, he said, It's exactly 6 days, 15 hours, 12 minutes, and 10 seconds from now, so you'd better start practicing, and you'd better not make me look like a fool, or you'll be sorry. I cringed. Oh, why do I always get myself into these ridiculous situations? Of course, I didn't know the first thing about racing a gondola. I didn't even know how to now. But if I won the race for Sharpwhiskers, he would have to do what I asked, and I was planning to ask him to let Hope and Arnold get married. Too bad I had no chance of winning. I stuck my paws deep in my suit pockets and pulled out my cell phone. Right then I got an idea. Quickly, I sent a text message to my friends in New Mouse City. SOS. Meet me at Sharpwhisker's House of Glass in Murano, Italy. GS. Done and done. We're here to help. The next day at sunset, I left the shop and went to the dock where Sharpwhisker's gondola was anchored. It was an old, peeling mess. Even worse, the boat was sucking water like my Uncle Adventure Mouse after his 3-week excursion through the desert. Alarmed, I glanced around at the other racing boats that were docked next to Sharpwhisker's boat. Not only were they beautiful, but they were in tip-top shape. I began to sob in desperation. Oh, why do I always get myself into these ridiculous situations? Sob. Right then, a familiar voice interrupted my clang jag. What's with the waterworks, Dearmeister? You're such a crybaby. I turned to find my cousin Trap laughing at me. Next to him stood my sister Thea, my nephew Benjamin, Petunia Prettypaws, and her niece Bugsy Wugsy. We're here to help. We're here to help, Uncle Geronimo, squeaked Benjamin. I was so happy to see my family and friends. I hugged everyone. Then I told them all about my adventures so far in Venice. I explained about the big race that was about to be held the following Sunday, and about my plan to convince Sharpwhiskers to let Hope and Arnold marry. What a romantic story, Petunia and Thea whispered. Trap just rolled his eyes. I'm getting cavities with all of the gushing sweetness, he grumbled. A few minutes later, Thea got down to business. Okay, everyone. There's no time to stand around shooting the cheese. We've got work to do. We've got to get in shape for the big race. She pulled the whistle out. Tweet, tweet. We'll begin with sprints, she squeaked. After 10 minutes, I crashed the ground. Trap fell on top of me, then Benjamin followed by Petunia and finally Bugsy Wugsy. Help! I screamed from underneath the pile of mice. Oh, what a disaster. If we kept going at this race, we'd never make it to the race on Sunday. As soon as we untangled ourselves, I turned to Thea and said in my nicest voice, I know we need to get in shape, but before we do that, I think we should find a new racing gondola. Then we can work out and practice rowing at the same time. Isn't that a great idea? My sister looked insulted. Did I mention she likes to be the boss of everything? She shot me a look. I could tell she was about to give me a piece of her mind when suddenly a sleek gondola slipped into the canal. It was a vibrant yellow and it was being rowed by none other than Hope Sharpwhisker. Hope rowed up the boat and waved. I heard about your plan, Geronimo, and I will do everything I can to help you win. Here, take this gondola. It was made by my Arnold. He's an amazing carpenter, she explained. I looked at the gondola. Hope wasn't exaggerating. Arnold truly was an amazing carpenter. It was exquisite. Before I could thank her, she took off down the dock. I'm off to see my friends, she called back. We are going to make you the Fab Mouse uniforms. I smiled as Hope disappeared around the corner. She was such a different mouse from the one I had met in old Sharpwhisker's attic. She had changed from a total sad sack into, well, something hopeful. I guess that just goes to show how powerful love can be. Hi, Hope. That'll be it for this video, but be sure to watch the next to finish the mystery in Venice. Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Kate Productions. Thank you.